If you are an aspiring content creator or you're aspiring to go into any field at all, and you're waiting until you have all that you need, your chances of flopping are this high. But if you're aspiring to go into a particular field and you're willing to start from where you currently are, you're willing to start with what you currently have, then your chances of flopping are lower. And this is why somebody who is willing to get started, even when they don't have all that they need, is building a kind of mentality that makes them willing and able to maneuver around limitations, to withstand limitations, such that even when they eventually have all that they need, and maybe something happens, they're away from home, or something happens, their equipment gets damaged, they can still move forward regardless. On the other hand, someone who waits until they have all that they need before they get started has a higher chance of flopping. And that's because they're not yet conversant with the journey. They're not yet comfortable with making do with what they have. So if at all, they get to have all that they need, and along the line, maybe the equipment gets damaged or something happens that they're away from their setup, they won't know how to continue. And that's because they didn't build that resistance. They didn't build that mentality before they got started. It's even easier when you start from having nothing. Because when you get started from having nothing, people can relate with your process. People can relate with, seeing you from when you had nothing to when you have everything. Okay. Not to say that it's bad to have everything before you get started. I'm not saying that that's wrong. But I'm saying that if you don't have all that you need yet, it's not a reason why you should sit back and say, oh, I'm not going to do anything right now because I don't have all that I need. You should get started with what you have right now because there are people out there who are willing and able and waiting to support you through your process. This is even what I have realized. I've realized that if you are waiting until you have all the aesthetics and everything, forgetting the main reason why you are into it, which is the value itself. If you're waiting until you have all the things that are aesthetically pleasing to the eyes and all of that, people will engage with your content. But most of them are not going to be engaging with your content because of the value they are getting from your content. They're going to be engaging with your content because you look like you are in the class of someone who gives value. Let me explain the difference. So we know our favorite creators and all of those things, right? There's a kind of standard that their content has. That when we see people who have a similar kind of setting, we tend to respect their content, we tend to engage with their content. But most of the times, you get to find out that some people who even have all these aesthetics, all the backgrounds and the lighting and the setup, now rubbish that they talk. Honestly, it's rubbish that they're talking. So the fact that you have all those things does not guarantee that the value of what you're going to be giving is solid. So the best time to get started is right now. Start dishing out that value. Let people know you as someone who gives value. Let people be able to appreciate, the value that they're getting from you right now, even if it's not looking pleasing to the eyes as you would expect it to or as you would want it to. Start right now. You don't have an excuse.